The conception vessel.
Conception vessel starts from the perineum, goes up the ventral midline to the chest, throat, and then end at the lip. The starting acupoint is CV1, then we have CV3 on the abdomen, then CV8, CV12 around the navel, then we have CV15, CV17, CV20 on the chest, and then CV24 on the face. The landmark is the navel, which is CV8. And also the other landmark is the anterior edge of the pubic tubercle. Draw a line connecting the navel and the pubic tubercle and divide this line into 5. 1/5 from the pubic tubercle is CV3. 2/5 from the pubic tubercle is CV4. 3/5 from the pubic tubercle is CV5. 4/5 from the pubic tubercle is CV7, and in the middle between CV7 and CV5, there is CV6. At the navel, there is an acupoint called CV8. Above the navel, the landmarks are the navel, CV8, and xiphoid process. Draw a line between the navel and the xiphoid process and divide it into 8. 1/8 from the navel is CV9. 2/8 from the navel is CV10. The midpoint between navel and xiphoid process is CV12. 3/8 from the xiphoid process is CV13. 2/8 from the xiphoid process is CV14. 1/8 from the xiphoid process is CV15. And we go up the midline and we have CV17 and CV20. CV17 is at the 4th intercostal space in the midline. And then you go up. At the level of the 4th intercostal space, there is CV17. And at the level of the 1st intercostal space, there is CV20. And then you go all the way up and slightly below on the lower lip midline, there is CV24. CV24 is the last acupoint on the conception vessel. Then let's use a real dog and find the acupoints on the conception vessel. The starting acupoint is CV1. It is on the ventral midline. It is in the middle point of the anus and the external genitalia. Next is CV3. CV3 is also on the ventral midline. It is on the line connecting the pubic tubercle and the navel, and it is 1/5 from the pubic tubercle. Next is CV4. CV4 is also on the line connecting the pubic tubercle and the navel, and it is 2/5 from the pubic tubercle.
Next is CV5. CV5 is also on the line connecting the pubic tubercle and the navel, and it is 2/5 from the navel.
Next is CV6. CV6 is also the line connecting the pubic tubercle and the navel, and it is 3/10 from the navel. Next is CV7. CV7 is also on the line connecting the pubic tubercle and the navel, and it is 1/5 from the navel. Next is CV8. CV8 is in the center of the navel. Next is CV9. CV9 is on the line connecting the navel and the xiphoid process, and it is 1/8 from the navel. Next is CV10. CV10 is on the line connecting the navel and the xiphoid process, and it is 2/8 from the navel. Next is CV12. CV12 is on the line connecting the navel and the xiphoid process, and it is 1/2 from the navel. Next is CV13. CV13 is on the line connecting the navel and the xiphoid process, and it is 3/8 from the xiphoid process. Next is CV14. CV14 is on the line connecting the navel and the xiphoid process, and it is 2/8 from the xiphoid process. Next is CV15. CV15 is on the line connecting the navel and the xiphoid process, and it is 1/8 from the xiphoid process. Next is CV17. CV17 is at the level of the fourth intercostal space and on the ventral midline. Next is CV20. CV20 is at the level of the first intercostal space and on the ventral midline. At the level of the first intercostal space and on the ventral midline. And last is the CV24. CV24 is slightly below the lower lip on the ventral midline. That's all for the conception vessel acupoints.